Shoot. And we are back again. Episode 14 of the Bottom Dweller Banter. How are you doing, my man?
Tired but good, man. Got a lot of stuff done today. Groceries, cleaning, work, some some cooking, you name it. Got
That's
it
good.
done.
That's good.
Weather was nice for me, at least. I like the rain. I don't like what it does to drivers because it makes them suddenly forget how to drive, but I dig it. I dig it.
I'm okay as long as it's not pouring,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, let's fucking jump right into it on this Google Docs, which is the bane of my existence. Uh,
Yeah, please. Light them on fire for the
Yeah, I
viewer
don't know why it's
listeners
so
and
hard to, as we were talking about, fucking strike through on the document. You have to go through three different menus. Anyway, starting
yeah,
off with Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Great name. New upcoming Marvel movie coming out in September 3rd. Uh, Starring my man. What's his name? Sam Liu, who most people will know from Kim's Convenience of all things. Yeah, he was pretty good in that show. It was a good show overall. I gotta say, most accurate to people who live in Toronto, especially. Um, yeah, looking forward to a Marvel movie. I have to say, it looks different. It looks like they're actually focusing on the martial arts aspect. I saw the trailer. You saw it too.
yep.
Lots of stunt work. It does look like the guy's doing his own stunts, at least where his face is visible. So respect to that. Um, they also got Aquafina and Tony Leung, so Asian quota represent, I guess. What are your thoughts on this, brother?
Uh, I Well, I think you're gonna agree with whatever I'm about to say because we've talked about this. It's like it's good to be excited, but at the same time, I temper it because I think of like Marvel movies having a certain flavor
It is
that's
gonna
always
have the
constant.
formula, yeah, the
Yeah,
Marvel, yeah,
it's like a it tends to be. Now, don't be shooting flaming arrows at me, people. It's just that they tend to have one flavor of ice cream.
yeah,
There's a few outliers with the special dotted vanilla or chocolate chips you see with like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it tends to be
yeah,
like just one flavor, which is a formula that works for them, which is why they keep doing it.
yep.
Nonetheless, I'm excited for it because again, I'm a Marvel head. Am I knowledgeable in Shang-Chi? Honestly, not as much. I'm more familiar with his ultimate version, which I can see a little bit of in the trailers, a little bit of hints at it. I'm not too familiar with his mainline version, but and nonetheless, I kind of like that I don't know as much because well, there's some elements that tie into. If you guys have seen Iron Man 3 and you guys know about the Mandarin, uh, we are supposed to get the real Mandarin in this movie, right? And the Ten Rings are actually showing up. So I can see where might know a little bit about it, but nonetheless, it's the less I know, I kind of feel better now because
Yeah,
my
for sure.
expectations won't be high.
Yeah.
I won't say they didn't do AZ from the comic. Like I won't be one of those dickheads, you know?
That's a good
So.
point. I mean, at this point, Marvel is pretty much Marvel movies are pretty much a blank template with the skin applied of whichever character is featured in that movie. Here's the blank template. This is an Iron Man movie. Let's put in fucking Iron Man in this. It goes through the same arc, you could say, but it is nice to see deviances. It does this one, at least from an, I don't know about the story point of view, but for at least from an action point of view, it looks something that's maybe different for Marvel, and I'm looking
I
forward to it.
I want to say I wouldn't be surprised if we get a couple like long take action scenes without
I
cuts.
I like
I
long take action
I would
scenes.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um. Oh my God. Talking about Shang-Chi because Shang-Chi and Iron Fist in the comics are sort of tied together in their own way. And
yeah,
remember Iron Fist season one. There's a fight scene, guys. Go look it up. There's like it's in a like a. I stayed away from it from people recommending me. They're like, if you love Iron Fist, which I do, they're like, don't watch it. So I didn't watch Iron Fist. But I saw a clip where Danny Rand is fighting a guy in in like a stock room or something, and there's like 56 cuts. It's like Liam Neeson when they did like 80 cuts of him jumping over the fucking
Yeah, when Liam
fence.
Neeson needs fucking 30 cuts to jump a fence. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on that tier of like too many cuts, and you just shake your head at it. You go, "Oh my God, dude!" But I don't think we're getting any of that here. But I just remembered those two funny
I
clips.
fucking hope not, because the reason I like long take action sequences is because it implies that there's actually choreography involved. And when you have
Yeah.
cut, you don't have to do anything. You can just film people fucking doing this, and you can make it look like there's something going on.
Eddie Chan
Um,
always insisted that he always wanted to do as much stuff as well on camera as possible.
yeah,
Like he wanted a wider shot, and you could see a little bit of that in the
exactly.
movie. So I like that. Like put going like pulling the camera away, not in their face.
And that's exactly what lazy directors are afraid of. That's why they love close-up shots. And
Yeah.
yeah, to to go with that point, this could also be a refreshingly more how do you say it, less CG infested Marvel movie compared to the
Yeah.
fucking green screen abominations that we were used to getting. If you've ever seen Marvel behind the screens, it's basically shot in a green room.
Yeah. This is like
Yeah.
you ever sit there and wonder how the actors gotta feel like just acting in front of a green screen?
I,
It's not.
I give credit to that. Yeah,
Yeah, it's respectable, but also difficult when you really think
it
about it. I
is.
just
Yeah,
feel bad. I just don't think that's the way to always be acting is in front of a green screen, you know.
yeah. Well,
Anyway,
yeah.
um, anyway, excited. I'm more excited for this than I am for like Black Widow, for example. And
Me too. Yeah.
it's not. And the thing is, I know more about Black Widow than I do Shang Chi. But it's like, the thing is just I don't know. I looked at the Black Widow trailers and I'm like, this is gonna be like, there's
Exactly.
a higher probability of this being for the formulaic thing,
Just going
you
off
know.
the trailers, we don't know yet, but
Yeah, we don't
yeah,
know, but it's just a prediction or a
this
hypothesis.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
And interestingly, the article doesn't say whether it's going to be on theaters or Disney Plus. I imagine by September we can probably get back to theaters. Am I being optimistic? I don't know.
I'm excited to just be with the boys, like just go to a movie with the boys. That's
Yeah,
been a while, and even if I feel like even if the movie doesn't end up being that great, I'll just be happy for the experience of meeting up with
for sure.
everybody again. So anyway, I
And
look forward to it.
and one last thing, uh, with Disney Plus and the additional fees that you have to pay for some of the new movies, it ironically costs more than what you would pay for a theater ticket, which is funny when you consider the logistics of running the theater. But whatever. That's why Disney is one of the biggest fucking corporations.
Dollar
Anyways,
used to death. Anyway.
let's move on to a bit of gaming news. Obviously, the bulk of gaming news was covered in last week's E3 presentation, but we got Hot Wheels, a new Hot Wheels game coming out on Nintendo Switch, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series S. It's called Hot Wheels Unleashed. Do you know if this is a new game or a remake? Because we've been getting a lot of those too. It
I'm not sure personally.
it looks like it's a brand new game in any case, and graphics look pretty good. Gonna be coming out on September 30. Another thing to look forward to in September. Um, the most interesting thing that I've seen here is split screen mode is available, which is nice, and it is also available on the PC version in particular. As you would know, the one of my biggest pet peeves was that PC versions of games often skipped out on split screen
Yeah,
for
yeah,
whatever reason. Maybe they just thought that the PC, if you're buying it on PC, you're not really playing split screen. You're more likely to be playing online. But
right.
I mean, if it's the same build of the game, why not have the option?
Yep.
So I appreciate that. That being said, this is a game that I'll most likely get for consoles just because it's hooked up to the TV and you got controllers and everything. But
It's meant to be played that way, I think,
yeah,
It's just
for sure.
I don't there's a lot of games that I think you and I have played where we go at its like that should be a console game mainly.
Yeah,
Like for example, as much as I played Like for example, Tekken on a PC, it's like it hits differently when it's on a console.
For
It's a
sure,
different
yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, man.
Yeah. And yeah, this is great because these days we've been so saturated with realistic games and Forzas and Gran Turismos and even Project Cars and Dirt approaching more and more simulation like experiences. It is nice and refreshing to have another fucking brainless arcade racer where I don't have to worry about the damage of my car, you know?
Yeah,
uh,
I used to play with Hot Wheels as a kid, man. So
yeah,
this is
man.
just I you brought this game to my attention, and I'm excited. I just hope it's good. I'm sure. I think it will be. I
Yep.
have a good feeling about it.
I hope so too.
Yeah. Hmm. Speaking of like games and stuff, so last week I went off at the end of the podcast. I'm sorry. I got all tensed up and emotional when I roasted the shit out of Namco because I just thought that their prices were just disgusting. Like, and I'm sure many people out there might agree. It's like, why the hell are you still selling Xenoverse 2 for $70, bro? 4.5 years old. Why are you doing that? So I talked a lot of shit last week, and bada boom, bada bing. The next week or in the next couple days later, after we recorded, I should add, I'll
Of
say
course.
that, which was so it was after we recorded. By now the sale is over, the Namco developer sale, as of this time of recording and when we released the pod. But nonetheless, they heard my shit talk because there was as I just said, there was a Namco developer sale, and boom, like some giant price cuts, like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which I picked up for $45. I got the deluxe edition, which has the season pass. If I bought that without the sale, I would have paid $114, guys,
God damn.
versus 45.
How much for the
I,
base game?
I the base game is 80? 80.
No, how much for the base game on sale?
Oh, on sale it was like 23, 21-ish, if I
Not
recall
bad.
correctly.
That game is not more than a year
It's not
old, is
old.
it? Yeah.
It's a year and a half at most, year and 5 months.
Not bad.
And I'm like, this is a steal. I snort Dragon Ball Z, right? So
Yeah.
you know me. I had to get it, and I'm excited to play it. Um, And the game looks beautiful. But anyway, I just thought I'd tell you guys it's funny how that developer sale just so happened to poetically appear after I went off on Namco. So cheers, Namco. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know why that sounded like Trump. Okay.
Oh, before I forget to, I know this is completely opposing to talking about a game sale, but as of this recording, I'm now at my peak immunity and peak frequency to
Peak.
communicate with the 5G tower
Yes.
after my Pfizer vaccine from 2 weeks ago. I'm at peak frequency, guys. I'm immune. I'm like Iron Man. I'm like Colossus right now. I'm kidding. Not necessarily with the new variant, but hey, listen, it's a big step. So
It
looking
is.
forward to getting some normalcy myself. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Good to know.
Anyway,
Hopefully I get
yeah,
my
I'm at
second one soon too.
peak frequency and shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, dude.
Okay, next up we got what a mess. Cyberpunk 2077 is back on PlayStation Store. So if you've been living under a rock, Cyberpunk 2077 was the I think most anticipated game of 2021. And to if you want to I think it's easy to blame it on COVID, but the game released like an absolute fucking mess. Um, the only decent way to play the game was on the latest console, I think Xbox Series X, or if you had a really high end PC, and even then, from what I've heard, there's game breaking glitches, there's bugs. It's
Yeah,
really not what people expected from a reputable company like CD Projekt Red. Um,
yeah.
that's the thing though. For me, I wasn't as surprised, and this might be a hot take. I calm
Go
down,
for it, man.
but CD Projekt Red doesn't have the track record that people think that it's been around and it's like the greatest company ever. Don't haven't they only had like one really successful game and that's Witcher 3?
Yeah, I was gonna say, right? Witcher's like their most successful,
And
right?
not even the series. Who plays Witcher 1, right? Go play
You
Witcher
don't
1
want?
right now and tell me how it is. You know, I've tried it. I'm not saying out of my ass. I've tried all three games.
Can you
Uh,
tell me how it is, Witcher One? I've never played it, never seen game.
it's pretty rough. I'm sure it was fine
Jank?
for the time, but it is jank fest.
Yeah.
But
Oh man.
that's what I'm saying. Um, to have such a massive reputation based off one, really, let's be honest, one game,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. And here's the fact, they're doing a completely different game now from Witcher 3. You couldn't be more opposite to Witcher 3, right?
Yeah, that's what I
It's
gathered. I'm like, this is a really different flavor of game.
exactly with Cyberpunk. So
Yeah.
everybody was fucking hyped and then let down. Me, I was just observing. Um, yeah.
I was too. I was observing. There's someone that both of us know, and he was
Yeah.
initially very excited,
Yeah.
and then credits to him if he's listening to this. Shout outs to you. You know who you are, buddy. You tempered your expectations really well, and he didn't end up as hurt and disappointed by it. So
Yeah.
cheers to him, and cheers for people that do that. Tempering expectations. I've done that too many times where I got not too many times, but like a handful of times where I got too excited for a certain game
Yeah.
and it just didn't deliver because I set up too high of an expectation. It's the same thing like, and I say this as a reference, someone kept telling me Chipotle is great, Chipotle is great. Try it for the first time in 2016. I'm like, dude, this is nothing like you hyped it up to be.
And
So
you,
let's not do
yeah.
like we shouldn't do that as a general thing. You know what I
And you
mean?
know what? I'm not even mad anymore. There's plenty of games to play. In fact, there's too many games to play. I don't have time to play everything that I want. So if another game doesn't it misses the mark, well, I'm in a different position because I didn't pre-order it or anything. So I'm not as pissed as other people would be, but I'm
That's
not.
good.
I'm okay with this. You know?
I mean, it's just I didn't keep up with it too intensely on like what they were saying, but it's like all those delays and I think they almost like caved into like people going WTF, WTF, why do you
Yeah.
keep delaying it?
Yeah.
And that's the wrong thing to do, man. If you know it's not up to snuff or whatever the word is, why would you throw that product out there? Just something tells me that maybe even the devs didn't have a choice there. I think it might have come from above.
That's
I'm
the
worried. I don't know. I'm like I'm thinking it's the suits, man. Like
You're right,
uh,
and that's the first rule for what I think for the business should be. Is don't listen to people, because people don't know what they want. People want the game right now, no, or people want the game to be delayed and fixed later, or some people don't mind delays. Some people want the game right now. Like, don't listen to people. That should
or can
not
I
be.
say
That
something?
should not influence your business decisions. Yeah, what?
That's such a great point because, and I want to add on to that great point in the sense that you have it. I talked about wrestling 2 weeks back,
Yeah,
and what I remember from being a fan up till now is like people will say, "I don't want X person as the champion. I want Y person." Y person becomes the champion, and then they suddenly
same
go,
thing.
"Man, I don't
Yes.
want him." And I'm like, and then Vince McMahon probably sits there scratching his wig. He's
Yeah.
like, "What is going? What do you people want?" And then at some point, he and whoever else is an executive won't listen. They
Yeah.
stop listening more these days, but it's just certain times where they probably want to pull their hair out. They're like, "What do you want, man?
You don't
Make up your
know.
mind."
They don't know what they want. Why?
Right? So,
Why do you think Apple was successful? As other than exploitation and child labor and everything. Why do you think the design philosophy of Apple was that the creator, which in most cases was Steve Jobs, behind the design influences, he had a very set design, and you know what he did? He didn't listen to anyone. He's like, this is what's gonna happen, and hey, it worked out in some cases. You know?
yeah, being stubborn can help to a certain extent.
Yeah,
Stubborn within reason. I think that's the way to put it.
yeah.
So, anyway, we've been ragging on them a lot, but yeah, they've
But
been on the PSN store since like the 21st of June, right? Something like that. Um,
yeah,
but there's some other details I want you to talk about that they mentioned.
yeah. So, uh, everybody knows that these games run like absolute crap on base consoles, and I think it's fair to say no amount of patching is gonna is gonna fix that. It's fundamentally those consoles are way too weak. In 2013, when they released, the CPU was too weak for the time, so that should tell you about the performance of next generation game on these consoles. This is what they had to say about base PS4. Users may continue to experience some performance issues with the PS4 edition, while we continue to improve stability across all platforms. Yeah, I don't know about that. Um, like I said, adjusting you can adjust graphics, you can lower resolution, you can turn down details, but when your CPU is limited, there's there's not much you can do to improve the performance of the game. You know,
If I get this wrong, I'm sorry. It's a bottleneck, right?
it is a
Because of the
bottleneck.
CPU.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah,
goodness I remembered that word correctly.
yeah. Um, the last tidbit of information here is that getting Cyberpunk on PS4 or Xbox One will grant you access to a free next generation upgrade when the PS5 and Xbox Series X versions launch later this year. Yes, that was another thing. The game hasn't officially launched on next generation consoles. I believe they ran some kind of boosted or um, fucking roided up version of the previous gens, right?
I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe so.
So that would be interesting. Maybe that's the second coming of this game. Uh, but we've yet to see. As of me, I have no expectations. You have no expectations.
No,
Frankly, we don't care that much. I don't think we were that invested in Witcher to begin with.
no, it wasn't.
To
Frankly,
to me, the coolest thing that this company does is GOG, Good Old Games, is where they have DRM free versions of PC games. That is the coolest thing that this company does. for
they're
for
pretty nice. I
yeah.
just got exposed to GOG recently. It's pretty nice, man.
Hey, yeah, having no DRM, it's the fact that you can store the game on your local storage and y- you can play that game 20 years later without having to worry about servers or stores or anything. That's pretty cool. And as far as I know, they're alone in this marketplace, other than some indie stuff. Is there anything else for this topic?
It's just I think I brought this up on a prior podcast, but once you leave a bad taste in people's mouth like that with the initial launch, you're in trouble, dude.
Absolutely.
That's all. You're in
Yeah.
trouble. It doesn't matter if this like version of PS5 and Xbox Series was Xbox Series X versions, like it doesn't matter if those are like perfectly functional, but it's just you left a bad taste in people's mouth. It's gonna be hard to push those out.
Especially
That's all.
gamers, man. It's the least. I think it's the least fucking forgiving fan base.
Yeah,
Look what happened to
we tend to.
Bethesda. Bethesda made
Yeah.
two like some really great games, but just because of Fallout 76, it's been going downhill.
Oh
Just
my God.
it takes
Yeah.
only one wrong move in this industry to have everybody turned against you. And again, I think the reason for that is the competition. There's so many other games to play.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
there's
There's just games and you consider all the other media that people consume. It's just
yep.
yeah. Gamers move on pretty quick. Like we
Oh yeah.
tend to just go, bye, see ya,
Yep.
bucko, see you later.
Because
Let's
there's a lot of things competing for our time. Anyways, I
yeah.
think that's it for this topic. Why don't you
Okay. There's two
explain
things.
to me what the hell is going on here, what I'm reading?
Yeah. Sorry, my leg was itchy as hell. Two things. We're gonna add a fun twist here to the pod. It's a taste of what is to come when we set up studio in person and we start recording this shit live. Um, okay, a British man, he stacked M&Ms and he broke a Guinness World Record.
Oh my god.
I think it was like 4 or 5 M&Ms he stacked. And I'm like, I'm reading this article. I'm like, the shit that you people get up to, man. Like, for fuck's sake, I could be in the Guinness World Record books for the longest amount of time spent scratching my nuts. Like, added up, summative, like cumulative. I could be in the Guinness World Record books. And I'm not, listen, good for you. You got in the record books. I'm not cheering against this guy. Good for you. But at the same time, it's like, what the fuck did we come up with to put in the Guinness World Record books? That was how
Yeah,
I sat and
I
said,
agree.
it's like, um, it's like, I'm having a brain fart right now, actually, from just like
Yeah.
confusion.
I think
It's like,
I think I heard it somewhere best on YouTube or something. If you have to pay for your world record, then it doesn't count.
I
Just
think.
saying.
Oh, right. What I was gonna say is like, in the article they say this. They say, check this out, people. It's like Will Cutbill, 23 of I can't pronounce this right, Solihull or Solihull, England, said that he had long dreamed of getting his name into the Guinness Book of World Records, but it wasn't until the COVID-19 lockdown that he decided to make his dream a reality by stacking M&Ms.
Fucking
Oh,
tremendous.
has done things to people, eh?
I bet,
It's
yeah.
if you really stop and think about it, lockdown has been such a polarizing experience for humanity.
Yep.
On one hand, you have people that have kicked habits like drinking, snorting coke, whatever, and lockdown has unfortunately
Jeez.
taken them back to those dark places. And then we have, I don't want to call him a jabroni, but he's probably a very nice young man. But this dude comes and he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna do either of those. I'm not
I'm
gonna.
gonna fucking
I'm
stack
just gonna.
M&Ms.
I want to stack M&Ms.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to tell you people, it's very polarizing stuff going on.
I have two reactions to this piece of news, let's say, that you shared with me. One thing is, how do we know? I mean, they must have checked this. How do we know that this guy didn't fucking sand the M&M down a bit on the table before he stacked them?
It's a good point, but I think that they probably would smack him if they did that. I think the Guinness World Record book, they'll make sure of those little precautions. But you
Okay.
bring up a great point. You're straight on with that. Like it's good that you asked those questions.
Yeah.
Um, it's I think they do a pretty good job though regulating like all those workarounds, but
And
yeah,
here's my other reaction. Who the fuck still follows Guinness Book of World Records? I
used
mean,
to.
is there
I
even
used
a book anymore? Because I haven't seen it on a store shelf in goddamn 20 years.
Hey, here we
Uh,
go. Here's another thing I want to add. Costco always had Guinness World Books, so Guinness Book of World Records, and
Guinness
I've never
World
seen
Books.
one. Guinness World Books. I don't see any of those at Costco.
I don't see this shit anymore.
I don't see it in Bro, Costco always had it. Always. Now it doesn't. I don't see it.
Let alone I
So I
don't
don't
see books anymore, so they're
know. Yeah. Anyway, that's. Let me. Can I roll us into this next one because it segues
go for it.
perfectly. Okay. A young Indian boy, 9 years of age, he hula hooped upstairs, and he broke a Guinness World Record for hula hooping upstairs. Again, just what? Like now the
Again,
kid. Go ahead, please.
yeah,
You go ahead,
sorry.
then I'll go.
Is this a thing that is a world record, or is it just the fact that it hasn't been documented before? You know what I mean?
Great question. The
For
article does talk about. Dude, another kid said in the article, he's like, now I want to hula hoop while running up the stairs, not walking, running.
I
Guys,
don't know,
if I
man.
tried to hula hoop while walking up the stairs, I would tear apart at the seams, okay? My glute muscle, you remember last week, you made a joke and my left ass cheek, my left glute muscle spasmed. You made a joke and it spasmed.
Oh.
Now, if that's from a joke and I leaned over and it spasmed, my glute muscle would like probably fuck
Explode.
the glute muscle. My right eyeball would fall out or
Yeah.
something trying to hula hoop walking up the stairs and shit. At this point, I want to, you know what? Fuck it. You people are getting this exclusive. You listen to it immediately. I'm putting in my contendership for the title of most times whacking off in a span of X hours.
Oh God.
I'm like Ric Flair. I'm the number one contender for that World Heavyweight Championship of FAP. I'm telling you. At this point, why not? I might as well. Quarantine is it makes one capable of such things. I'm just saying.
If
I know I just took this in
you
a wild direction, but anyway.
okay,
Yeah, that's what you get.
again,
Throw a
well,
little surprise on people. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like Guinness is way past its peak. I feel like the world records that we used to, at least I used to see as a kid in these fucking books were. I think maybe all the cool shit has been done already, and now they're doing this. Even as a kid, if I saw these world records, I'd be pretty. I wouldn't be impressed. Let's say the least. Um,
Yeah.
which brings us to the question: what is the outlandish world records that you remember from back in the golden era of Guinness
You
World
know,
Records?
one of the most disgusting fucking things I've ever seen in my life was a record for like the longest fingernails, and I looked at the
I've
picture.
seen
I
that.
think I have the book from like
I've seen that.
2006.
That shit
It's
goes
the
like
most
in a like
a
Fibonacci
hula hoop. It's
sequence.
a fucking hula hoop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's the most disgusting
Oh
shit I've ever
god,
seen in my fucking life,
that
guys.
is disgusting.
Again, I'm sure the person is decent and nice,
I don't know about
but it
that
is that
either.
it. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just don't want to pass judgment and shit. But I just at the sight of it, I wanted to run off a cliff. It was the most nasty thing I've ever seen. One of the most
But
nasty things.
but it makes you
Yes.
think. It
Of
makes you
what?
think. What is the logistics of this person having long fingernails? How do they eat? How
Uh,
do they live their life? It's fascinating. That's what these books were all about.
Scratching your nuts. That's
What?
my first thought. How you gonna
Okay.
scratch your nuts?
Oh, good call. Yeah,
Ah,
interesting.
yeah.
Fucking cut the shaft off at that point. Yeah. The one that I remember that was freaky, maybe not as freaky as this. I think it was the world record of being submerged in a tank full of what was it, cockroaches or beetles or something? With the most beetles, and I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 or 500. I don't remember. This is 15 years ago. I saw that as a kid and I was fucking traumatized.
I don't remember that one. That's interesting.
Again, maybe this is more meathead than what yours was, but at least it makes you think. It's fascinating. You have to think about the person, how they, what, what, which decisions in their life led them to this point of being submerged in a tank full of cockroaches. But
Yeah, you
anyway,
can see my face. I'm like looking at you, and I'm like,
yeah.
you can see
So
my face.
the two that we just pulled off the top of our head from memory are way more fascinating than hula hoops and fucking M&M stacks.
They are.
Yeah,
They're also nastier, but I guess that's the fascination about it,
that is the
right?
fascination. That's why
That's
people
why
watch
people watch
shit
Fear
like
Factor
X
with Joe
Factor and
Rogan.
yeah, Fear Factor and all that shit.
Yeah, I like how we both thought of the same
Yes,
shit.
same thing.
Uh, when Joe
Yeah,
Rogan had a full head of hair and
Joe
shit.
Rogan, Joe
Bro
Rogan.
Jogan. Bro
Yeah,
Jogan.
yeah.
But yeah, dude, yeah, I'm not sure. Did we like bought like goat testes? Like it was a crazy show,
There
guys.
was some crazy shit in that. In
There was
that,
like a
yeah.
WWE episode with like tough enough contestants. I remember the Miz was on Fear Factor for
I'm
fuck's sake.
sure 80% of that shit won't be aired on TV these days.
No, you can't get away with it.
You can't do that
It,
stuff
it, it
anymore.
violates people in every way imaginable.
The fun times of network television are over. That's why Netflix and stuff are taking over because you can do whatever you want.
Remember Mad TV? That was also like another.
Mad
That was like a
TV,
crazy
that was
time, man.
that
You,
was
if you watch some of the old Mad TV stuff, you look and you'll go, "Oh my God! If this aired past
even
2013,
even
it's
MT
done."
even MTV had some crazy shit back in the day
Yes, they did.
when they
Yes,
used
they
to
did.
play fucking everything except for music.
And there was like Pimp My Ride,
Pimp
which
My
I
Ride
loved
with
watching.
Exhibit.
I would always like come at the thought of like them, or even at the reveal, like, "Hey, yo, dog, we put an Xbox in
We
your
put a
car." Boom, and
PS2.
I
We
would
put a
like,
PS2 in your trunk,
dude,
man.
I would nut every time. I'm like, "Oh, I want that." Oh.
Now as an adult,
Anyway.
I think, wow, that would fucking destroy my car battery.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it would. I think there was like they did follow-ups with some of the guys in the cars. It's like, do they still have it or did they like destroy it? Did they sell it? I'm not sure, guys. Don't quote me, but I remember looking into that or seeing it. I'm not sure if it was in the show or not. Anyway.
Yeah, Pimp My
Um
Ride.
but as
All
we
right, man.
start like winding down here,
Close
I
this
got one
off.
more thing.
Yep.
Yeah, let's close it off. I think I've become the enemy. Not I think, I have become the enemy. I've become one with the TikTok,
Oh
the
no.
haram that is TikTok. I will soon grow 2 extra arms to point at the time for you people, but I want to use this as a segue. Listen, I um I tend to make I've made a couple TikToks, quick ones, quick edits, and they're all memey. You can follow me at Radicus, all lowercase. You see a Iranian man with a green helmet, that's me, okay? I'll feed you my homemade memes by the spoonful, and once in a while I'll hey, cheap plug. I'll even feed you meme highlights from my stream at twitch.tv
Ah,
slash Radicus underscore. So
perfect.
I'm just saying. I think you guys should be ashamed of me. I think I should be hit with a cricket paddle. And if you
I
did
agree
that to
with
me,
both
I
of
would
those
be okay
things. Yeah.
with it. I think you can haunt me from You can spit in my face and haunt me forever. It's okay. I kind of
I
deserve it.
would love to do all of that when we meet up in person.
I'm down, dude. I'm
In
down.
that order.
If I'm feeling frisky, I'll even catch the spit with my mouth because it's COVID. We're
Okay,
COVID free. We're
I'm
gonna
not
be all right.
interested anymore.
Anyways,
Fucking hell.
um,
Way to ruin
but
that.
I'm a fucking boomer. I've been told I'm a boomer. It's hard for me to track these TikTok trends or whatever the fuck.
I'm a boomer too,
But
man.
yeah, yeah, we're you know us. We're
I'm
boomers and shit.
Can I say I'm still not exactly sure what the point of TikTok is? That's
Me
how
neither.
much of a
I'm
boomer
using
I
it
am.
for like 5 days now, and I don't get it myself.
Every other
5 days as of recording.
You bring me every other platform, I can tell you what it's for: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. TikTok. Fucking who knows?
I, I don't
And
fucking know,
anything
dude.
goes at TikTok. Yeah.
But I do want to make a small announcement. I think you guys can expect a TikTok for this podcast eventually. I'll
Okay.
be weaving in memes into our whatever like our moments, our great moments are, and you'll see that eventually. That's in the future. I'm not gonna say expect it next week, but expect it like soon, like
Cool.
imminent. Okay, so that's a special announcement for those that watch or listen to us on a week to week basis. But
Yeah.
anything else, Bard, before we fly away?
That's it, and that's that. A
All
relatively
right.
short one compared to last time because we did cover a lot of ground last time in the E3 one, and that one did go on a lot longer than the format that we usually do.
It's
But
an hour, right?
yeah, that was almost a
Yeah.
goddamn hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it, and that's that. Looking forward to next week, and have a good one.
Hold on. We got to do the cheap plugs.
Oh yeah,
You got to follow us on, or sorry, subscribe to us on YouTube at Bottom Dweller Banter hyphen BDB. Just look at Bottom Dweller Banter. You'll see us, the piranha with the mic. Follow us on Spotify, Bottom Dweller Banter. Follow us on Twitter at BD Banter Podcast, and then follow us on Instagram at Bottom Dweller Banter, all lowercase. And that's it, folks. We're off not to fly, but to swim in the sea of life. See you.
peace.